Welcome to This Week at the NCPA. And this is our job to tell you what's on and off stage at the National Centre of the Performing Arts. Very, very exciting 2 days. Friday the 3rd and Saturday the 4th. Goddess, a celebration of the divine feminine, conceived and curated by Arundhathi Subramaniam. That takes place at the Godrej Dance Theatre and Experimental Theatre. The timings, Friday the 3rd is 4 p.m. Saturday the 4th is 3 p.m. onwards, an NCPA presentation. It's really special because it talks about women in so many forms, the mother, the protector, and it's an exuberant celebration of ladies and women in all their avatars. 5 special showcases. One is by Devdutt Patnaik, the distinguished mythologist, author, illustrator and columnist. Session 2 is Saundarya Lahiri, this world that was created by opening your eyes, Mani Rao on Saundarya Lahiri. The session number 3 is I'll Rub Kali on My Face, translating the goddess. Session 4 is My Mother Awaits Me in the Charnel Ground, Sham Sangeet and Nozrul Geet by Anol Chatterjee. And session 5 is what we're concentrating on in this conversation, which is Garba, the Womb of the Goddess by Manasi Parekh, Parthiv Gohil and troupe. That's session number 5. And this is happening at the Experimental Theatre, 7:25 to 8:30 p.m. Manasi Parthiv, how are you?
Hi, Hrishi K. I mean, you're like the icon, and it's an absolute honor to be speaking with you.
So sweet, Manasi. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Manasi, as a woman, this is so important, isn't it? A festival, a 2-day festival that celebrates the divine feminine. What are your thoughts being part of this festival as a woman, and what Arundhathi and the NCPA have done together?
It's absolutely an incredible honor that Arundhathi called up and asked us to be a part of this festival because Arundhathi herself embodies that the feminine aura at max. You know, she's an incredible writer, poet, orator, linguist, and so much more. And when she said that she's doing this, curating this entire festival, bringing together so many incredible, artists under one roof, and of course NCPA doing it, we had to say yes to it because I think the beauty of the entire festival is celebration of the feminine aspect of the divine power that kind of binds all of us together. So it's not really about women as much as it is about the feminine aspect of, life. Yeah.
She's so right, isn't she, Parthiv? I always believe that there is a feminine side to all of us, yes. And especially us men. And I think over the ages, especially in the modern era, all of us are being, reunited with our feminine self. We're being in touch with our feminine self. And you especially, considering your diverse nature of work, Parthiv, there's so many of your performances that have been dedicated to the Mother Goddess. So talk to me about the importance of men to pay obeisance to the divine feminine.
Yes, as I have learned from my Sadguru that when I heard that video, and I got clarity that feminine doesn't just mean female. It's very different. So feminine power, feminine divine, definitely we will talk about the Garba, but it is like feminine nature is in all the creatures, like in men also. Like it's so important to understand that power within you in the life as a whole. And especially I personally experience in Navratri, when for all 9 days, when I perform like more than 4 hours on one stage and thousands of people dancing and they're worshipping. And this is the festival where I experience the power of feminine divine.
Very beautifully put. I mean, when you're on stage doing these long routines, and we've just come out of the Navratri festival, must have been a very busy time for you, Parthiv. And you're right. I mean, irrespective of what you call this female energy, you can call it or her Shakti, Aphrodite, Abhirami, some people say Ambika, Kali, Saraswati. I think the beauty of India is that each part of India or each state has some form dedicated to the divine feminine. I mean, in Karnataka, there's the Yellama. In Gujarat, as you people know best, the Gujarati Garba sung by women to multiple goddesses. So I think it's appropriate now that we come to your performance, which is Garba, the womb of the goddess. I love the title. Manasi, what can we expect? It's going to be a full 1 hour explosive performance.
Yes.
Give us a sneak peek.
So, now that Garba has become so popular, and not just Gujaratis, even non-Gujaratis kind of enjoy the festival. They call it the sunburn of the Gujus. But of course, there is a lot of fun attached to it, and there's all this, dance and everything. But the origins of the word Garba come from the word Garb, which means the womb, and the womb of the divine feminine. And that's how, the original folk songs originated from in the villages when they sang.
The power to give birth.
The power to give birth, anything fertile, creative, intuitive. It's about celebrating that aspect of nature. And of course, like you said, every state in the country, in fact, I think every culture in the world, the Egyptians had Isis, the Greeks had Aphrodite. So we have all our magnificent goddesses. So we all celebrate that power through Garba, in especially this performance at NCPA. And it's a 1 hour power pack performance. We're going to be doing some very interesting Garbas that haven't been heard before, because there are obviously the very popular ones that everybody has heard, because a lot of Bollywood films also kind of have remixed them and made them very popular. But we are going to be kind of touching into the really rooted songs, so to speak, and the rhythmic.
We are going to present it in different style of Gujarati folk art, at different rhythm pattern, different moods, different varies.
Yeah.
And we will be talking about few very old and classic compositions, very popular also, and rare poetry also. And the rhythm difference will start from like really high pitch, then going into like very subtle and soft, then gradually in Garba pattern, plus there is a Dakla pattern.
Yeah.
Like Udo and a lot of different folk musical genres we are going to explore in Gujarati folk.
And I would like to add, so Dakla is this very specific form of, it's almost like a very tribal, tantric kind of zone of performance.
Very trippy.
Very trippy. Like even if you don't know what it is, the minute it starts playing, and when we will be performing it, and I hope Hrishi, you're there to experience it, you can really feel the vibe change in the room. You feel like, oh my God, something's happening, Yeah, it's got this very trippy vibe. रमती आवे आज मारी मेरी रमती आवे बुआ धुने माना बुआ धुने आज मात मेलड़ी ना बुआ धुने माना बुआ धुने. So we're doing a lot of these things. Of course, the audiences might not know the genesis or the context of what it is, but they'll feel it with the rhythm and the words and the vibe of it. Yeah.
This is beautiful. I want to tell everybody who's watching and listening that there's a very, very special treat. Now, tickets are open. You can go to Book My Show, book your tickets right away. You go to the ncpamumbai.com website. That's another way to get information and ticketing. When you buy a ticket, you will also be, because you bought that ticket, will be able to not just watch the performance, but stay on for a discussion with the musicians. I mean, it's so beautiful now that Manasi and Parthiv have told me about Garba originating from Garb, like we always see Garbavati. So things like this, which you probably didn't know about, or you want to ask them questions of the performance. After the performance, there's some nuance that you wanted to know about. They will stay back and have a discussion with you. So remember, the ticket is not just for the performance, it's also for the discussion. So how large is the troupe? The musicians are all going to be live, Parthiv? Yeah, along with the dancers? Yeah? Like in a Navratri festivity?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the dancers are audience.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because,
Why not?
as you can see, the lineup is so eclectic and there's going to be a lot of serious talk and discussion, all of that. But when we're going to be there on stage, of course, we will be having the conversation. But when the music will be there and the Garba starts, then people just have to forget everything and, they will have to get on their feet.
Both of you are such accomplished artists. Manasi has worked in movies and television, and she's a singer. You worked in the theatre. Parthiv, you yourself, a musician extraordinaire. I want both of you to talk about your experiences at the NCPA. Parthiv, you've been performing here for almost 2 decades now. So,
Yes.
if you could talk about Tata Theatre, experimental, any of the other facilities that you have performed at, and the feel that you've had.
So NCPA is the center, like for all the artists to express their art, talent, and all the new thing, which is like origin, like this Garba. Like we do a lot of Ras Garba program, but it is the format is quite commercial in a way. But here we can talk about it. We can go to the roots of the thing. So wherever I get chance to perform at NCPA, I have done a lot of concepts like the Radarang, Ragam Ka Darbar. I have done a lot of classical music plus folk music concepts, and you get freedom to express, and the audience also comes with that kind of mindset. So you get the right audience for the right music, and in today's time, it is so important for all of us as Indian to be connected to your roots, because the exposure is much wider and you are connected to the whole world at a point of time. But it is very, very important to know, to be connected to your roots and your culture. And this is the place which gives that opportunity to the artist community.
Lovely. Manasi, you want to add to that, given that you've also performed
Absolutely.
here so
I
many
think,
times?
yes, exactly. I've done a lot of theatre at NCPA at the experimental stage and performed at Tata Theatre as well. And I think it's the premier destination in India, so to speak, because, they curate some incredible lineups across the year. And if you are really a connoisseur of any kind of performing art, you have to be at the NCPA, because they make sure that you get the best entertainment and the best artists through the year. And we are very excited to be there. And I think the infrastructure there, the cold coffee, how can I not mention the cold coffee? People literally, drive we go from Goregaon to South Bombay just to have that cold coffee and the sandwich at NCPA after listening to some fine, incredible artists. So
it's like you feel like festival.
Yeah.
Whenever you
True.
go there, the whole vibe
Atmosphere
is
is
so
right.
Yeah.
The vibe is right.
It's amazing.
beautiful.
So, Manasi Parthiv and their troupe shall be performing. It's part of Goddess, a celebration of the divine feminine. Friday the 3rd, Saturday the 4th, 3 and 4 p.m. respectively. Please get your tickets now on Book My Show and go to ncpamumbai.com. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. This is a wonderful
you.
conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks
Hrishi.
a lot, Hrishi.
Thanks. Thank you.
Welcome to This Week at the NCPA. And radio's main man, Brian Tellis, is here. Brian, wonderful to see you, albeit in a different avatar. You normally present the night shift for us in the blues show, but you're here in the capacity of someone who loves the NCPA just as much as all of us do. And you are an inseparable part of the NCPA International Jazz Festival. For those of you who are listening, watching, it's an annual festival. This year it's happening 24th, 25th and 26th of November at the Tata Theatre. Really grand venue. And Brian, as always, is master of ceremonies. How are you doing? And it's that time of the year again.
I know. I am a happy camper, as they say. Like you said, I'm a big admirer of the NCPA and all they do, specifically around music and theatre, and even more specifically around jazz and blues. And this time, of course, we are talking jazz. So I do believe that the NCPA have got it absolutely right in their priorities and in how they go about fulfilling their priorities. So like I said, happy camper, happy to put my shoulder to wheel and kind of add impetus to all they do.
You know, last year's edition of the NCPA International Jazz Festival had German pianist Thilo Wolf. He enthralled the audience at the Tata Theatre. He played on the final day of the festival, accompanied by his quartet and vocalist Johanna Iser. Wolf and Iser are returning to open the festival this year. And there's a very, very welcome grand change. They're going to be accompanied by a big band. There's 4 saxophones, 3 trombones, 3 trumpets, piano, bass, drums. In addition to singer-guitar player Torsten Goods and vibraphonist Florian Burich. And you must be looking forward to that. And you remember Thilo and his performance last year?
Oh, most certainly I do. You know, what I love about these guys, jazz musicians, blues musicians, is they surrender themselves to the music. So, you know, I'd like to believe that when you go for a concert like this, you need to just kind of let yourself go. I met a fair few people last year after the concert, and I think they did the right thing. They just soaked it in, and each one of those musicians is a genius. But what I truly love about them is when they come together, you know, they are very unselfish. They come together as a unit, give each other space. Each of the instruments has time to kind of, you know, soak in the lights. Each of the performers, you know, has the common sense to allow for the entire band to show off. I love that coming together, especially in jazz.
For me, the original jazz voice will and shall always remain Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, man.
And I can imagine the Tellis household, Ella must have wafted through the airwaves at some point in time.
Ella was sharing the airspace with B.B. King, I have to be honest. But yeah, man, Ella, she's right up there.
The beauty of the Jazz Festival is also, apart from the headliners, there are debut acts. And we're going to see some amazing groups making their debut at the festival. And big ups to NCPA for ensuring that the newbies stand shoulder to shoulder. Miami-born pianist Cohen, he's going to be making his debut. And this is what we call Cuba Meets Miami, a Cuban-born pianist Rodriguez's latest album, inspired by Miami, which is also Cohen's city of birth. And we're going to hope and see some great piano playing here and going back to some jazz standards, as they call it.
You know, the beautiful bit about this festival is the great mix between the classics and contemporary. And that's what I loved the last time, and I'm looking forward to it this time as well. And what I mean is, you know, there are classics that have actually set standards, both musical and otherwise, in the world of jazz. But today's, you know, jazz musicians bring new life to the format of jazz. And what I love about the festival is that it has a fair mix of, you know, the classic jazz that we've all grown up on and the jazz that's really kind of, you know, grabbing the consumer attention today. So the fair mix or the fair balance between, you know, the classic jazz and contemporary jazz is what I absolutely love about the festival.
So that's Emmet Cohen. Keep an eye out for Cohen, multifaceted American jazz pianist and composer who's going to be here. And of course, what is jazz without some great percussions? Kyle Poole on the drums, Los Angeles native Kyle Poole, who now lives in New York City, has a band called Poole and the Gang. Like Kool and the Gang. So he's going to be back. And man, the sound of the trumpet is just so beautiful. Benny Benack III or Benny Benack III is going to be on the trumpet, another big performer that we look forward to. Alfredo Rodriguez on piano that I just spoke about. Talk to me about the audience itself. I mean, I met Mr. Sampath the other day at Tata Lit Live, and he was talking about how, you know, jazz is his lifeline. It's in his blood and his veins.
It truly is.
So you have people like Mr. Sampath who are on the jazz committee, and there are also people who are trying to get their first understanding of jazz, isn't it? So the mix of audience at the Tata Theatre.
So this is the point that I was making a little earlier with another perspective. I think jazz is eternal, okay? While in some of our minds we tend to typecast it as a musical format from the past, I think jazz has a great contemporary as well. Speaking of the audiences last time, there were many people in my age group that have kind of grown up on jazz. And of course, like I said, we soaked it in very, very happily. But I do believe that our focus needs to be, and I met a few of them, musicians and otherwise, at the last festival, the younger lot. But I do believe that we need to encourage and coerce, the younger lot to come in and sample maybe more of the contemporary jazz and also to soak in classic jazz as well. So I do believe that we need to be reaching out to the younger lot, the younger music lovers. And again, another kind of misnomer that we have in our minds is that if you are a rock lover or you are a blues lover, you won't be a jazz lover. No. I mean, here I'm a sitting example of someone who soaks it all in. I love jazz, as is pretty evident. I love the blues, as is also pretty evident. And I grew up on classic rock and roll. So I do believe if you have an open mind and you surrender yourself to the music, I think there's some wonderful, wonderful vibes for everyone.
Every November, the NCPA brings together the most relevant musicians in the jazz scene from all around the world to the NCPA International Jazz Festival. It started in a collaborative format in year 2011, was independently taken over by the NCPA in 2015. It's a 3-day festival consisting of 2 performances each day, which means a total of 6 international bands. And we really look forward to your patronage. Tickets are at Book My Show. You can go get them. They're going out fast. It's the Tata Theatre, 26, 27, 28. And I urge you to go to Book My Show, buy those tickets. Or if you want more history, more write-ups, at the ncpamumbai.com. That's another great place to get your dope. Brian Tellis, always a pleasure, my friend.
Man, that's a mutual sentiment.
Cheers.
So see you at the Jazz Festival, yeah.
94.3
One world, your station.
Radio 1.